What up, what up, what up? Hey, everybody, hope you're doing well. Hey, I just want to let you know, I know everybody can't always support and donate to the podcast, but hey, if you can do a one-time donation, I put up a Buy Me a Coffee link in this description of the podcast. So if you go to the description of the podcast, it'll be at the bottom, and you can just go to that link, and you can buy me a cup of coffee, or two if you want. And that would just help support the show, and I can wake up a little bit more and bring you more info. So thanks for listening to the podcast. If you can donate, that would be much appreciated. And let's get on to the show. What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Lockdown Universe, home of the bizarre, peculiar, and unheard of stories of UFO legend and paranormal lore. Welcome back, welcome back. Happy to be back. Hopefully you guys are doing excellent and taking care of yourselves. I have a great one for you today. It's very interesting, very fascinating, a little bit sad. Well, pretty sad, but, you know, we have to understand what we're dealing with when it comes to aliens. And we have a great whistleblower in Jason Rice that tells us about an alien Draco drop ship that comes to pick up German humans that are part of a deal to obtain, for the Germans to obtain moon real estate. Okay, this is back in the 50s. Okay, so in the 40s, 50s. Okay, so think about this for a second. Okay, the Germans were willing to give up humans, especially in particular their women, to obtain land rights on the moon. They had already gotten them in Antarctica. We already covered that. They want the moon property now so that they can do and obtain and get more scientific laboratory space. They want to branch out into the galaxy. They don't want to be bound by human rights and human rules or dominated by America. So they made a deal with these 14-foot tall Draco to hand over their humans. And initially, the Germans, the Antarctic Germans, did not tell these individuals that they were where they were going or what they were doing. They just said, "Meet us on this platform, and we'll tell you what's going on at that point." They brought all these humans up onto this platform in Antarctica, where a Draco ship landed, and they herded all these people into this cavern. And the Draco sent out this psionic field to basically mind control all of these Germans so that they could take them aboard their ship and have total control over them. So when they met, the Draco activated a stun device that froze everyone in place, except for the guards that were outside of the field. And then the reptilians, this is how evil these bastards are, okay? They started to send everyone in that field horrible images of human-on-human violence, cannibalism, and the images that they were sending these people was assault on their own family. So these people believed in their minds they were assaulting their own family and cannibalizing them and all kinds of mutilation. And they were sent to these individuals for the benefit of the Draco. They wanted to see. Rice thinks he was like, I don't know why they did that. You know, he was like, he thought it was because the reptilians thought it was funny. But we know through multiple other whistleblowers that it's because they feed on the adrenochrome. They were prepping them before they even got in the ship. That's how diabolical they are. And the only reason that Rice even knows is because there were two guards that were outside of the field, and they ran outside of the psychic field to get away from what they could clearly see was going on. These people were in distress and distraught. So they ran out. One of them got caught in the field. And the Draco were there to pick up their subjects and they were in full battle armor. There was no way these these 1940s, 1950s Germans were going to be able to fight off these guys. So they ran off. They ran off, and there's nothing they could have done to have harmed these guys. 14 feet tall, they could stun anybody at any time and brain implant them, brain rape them, mind rape them. So and besides, the Germans were there to turn these people over, so they weren't going to give up their land on the moon. So the two guards that did survive obviously were never going to be the same again afterwards, and they weren't even able to be conscious without going into a psychosis or psychotic state for at least up to a year. And then it took another year for them to even get to a point where they weren't in catatonia. Catatonia is where you're basically, you never speak, you don't interact, no eye contact with anyone. And after 5 years, they eventually suicided themselves, unalived themselves, right? And so the Draco, they took all these individuals, and the Germans, later on, they were a little bit inquisitive. They were like, hey, where did those people go? What, are they okay? What happened? The Draco were never going to tell them what they're really doing with these people, right? They wanted more people. They were going to eventually want more people and make more deals. And so that's exactly what ended up happening, was that the Germans decided and vowed from that day on that they would never exchange their own people if they had to make a deal, but they would go get other people from other areas of the world if needed. Now, isn't this interesting? Because the reason I bring this up, the reason I bring up this point in particular is because one of the Disclosure Project whistleblowers just came out, Michael Herrera, just came out and said that he was in the Indonesian area, and it was a 2008 time period, and he believed that we, as Americans, guys with American accents that were in the black camo and all that, were picking up individuals from Thailand or not Thailand, but the Indonesian area where they had the tsunami. And they were picking those people up and in human trafficking them. And if that's true, then they could have been human trafficking them to an alien species that might have been using them for food, adrenochrome, slaves, or whatever else they wanted to do. Now, part of us has to be a little bit diligent in saying, well, why would we have to make a deal with these species? Couldn't they just come and take them? Well, that might be the issue. Is that due to intergalactic federation law that they can't do that. But if we decide we want to give up our people in an experiment or an exchange, then we can do that. Maybe that's how the Intergalactic Federation's law works. And maybe the Draco know that, and they don't want to go get killed and get blasted off of the planet. They want to follow through on their missions. So they used us as pawns, and he did say that was the late 40s. So they were able to build a Lunar Operations Command on the moon. And it's interesting, right? Because we sent up our boys back in 69, 20-something years later, right? So there was already ships up there. Could some of those ships have been German? Could some of them have been reptilian? Could some of them have been other kinds of alien species? We really don't know. But this is where it gets really interesting, right? Because this is where the Germans made a decision to get in bed with these species, and good God, they gave up so much. It doesn't matter if it's one person, or two people. That's too much. To give up your own morale, your own morals, your own beliefs, your own people is too much to give up at all, ever, right? So it almost makes you wonder if a lot of these black ops individuals are going around the law, going around giving up their own people and giving up other people. So many people get lost in the national forest system where we have all these caves. Is it possible that, they're getting taken into these caves, trafficked? That's possible. Is it possible that there's other species coming down and taking humans out? That's possible. So when it comes to, making deals for technology, making deals for real estate, making deals for weaponry, I hope that our future commanders have enough cognizance, enough fortitude, enough morale, and enough cojones to say, no, we are not trading anyone. We don't care what it takes. We're not trading anyone. And hopefully we have the military prowess to back up those statements. We can no longer be giving away humans to any aliens. Doesn't matter who they are. Unless it's a mutual exchange and those humans want to go somewhere for the experience and for scientific endeavor. We can never allow this to happen. We can never allow it, and we can never say it's okay. There's certain things that you have to stand up for. So there's certain things you cannot allow. And we have to make those decisions, and we have to tell our children what's okay and what's not okay, and train them and teach them that no matter what your superior says, or what is a hard line in some faction, if it's to harm another individual that is innocent and give them to another species, we cannot allow that. That's something that we can never say is okay. We have to fight. We have to fight. So that's my 2 cents. That it's very disturbing, because to hear it from Michael Herrera is one thing, and I totally believe Michael Herrera when he got up on stage and he gave his discussion and his historical depiction of what happened back then. You can see it in his eyes. You can see the truth pouring off of him. We are a spiritual being. We are able to understand and grasp who's telling the truth and who's not, and who's feeling comfortable when they're speaking and who's not, and how they hold their body posture and how their eyes look, and when somebody's telling the truth, what that comes through when they're speaking is palpable. You can feel it in the air. So to hear another whistleblower state this, and then other whistleblowers state this, it's no wonder we've developed defense forces on Earth, on the moon, on Mars, on other planets, developed vessels to fight. Because at this point in 2023, if this has been going on since 1940, we've known that this has been going on a long time, and we've had to develop space forces, secret space forces. Now we have a Space Force official to combat this. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the official Space Force, to see if it becomes part of the unofficial Space Force. And we know that there's many out there. We know that there's a dark fleet run by the CIA. We know that there's a secret Space Force run by the military. We know there's a corporate fleet, dark fleet as well. So there's all kinds of fleets out there, not just one. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with our own official Space Force. And they have a special moniker. Aren't they called the Protectors? Space Force. They're called the Guardians, right? They're called the Guardians. That's you're like Guardian Airman 1, Guardian Airman 2, something like that. So it's interesting that they're called Guardians of the Galaxy. Anyway, guys, I'm going to let you go. I hope you're having a great night. Please make sure to follow, click on the notifications button, leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts, good or bad. And I love you guys. Take care of yourselves physically, spiritually, emotionally. Follow through on your hobbies and your goals and your dreams. And as always, continue to question the universe. Go follow, hit the notification bell, and leave me a review. Thanks a lot, guys, and I look forward to the next podcast. Lockdown Universe out.